All right, architecture students, this is going to be an overview of a completed lighting plan. And this is part 5 of the electrical and lighting series. After this video, there really shouldn't be much more to do. We just got to put some electrical outlets in the walls, and that's pretty much it. And of course, I'll have to show you a little bit about how to put those in the kitchen because they actually mount a little differently, mainly regarding the height. But anyway, back to electrical and lighting. I'm just going to overview how I did all of my wiring and my lighting, so that you know that you can kind of double check what you've done to make sure you're doing it correctly. Now, again, you know, I showed you a little bit of how I did my living room, from the switch to the fixtures that switch is going to control. And in this case, with these this bank of recess cans, you know, I run the wire to each recess can and then run it to the very last recess can. I do not run that back to the switch. And I also don't run separate lines from the switch to each individual light fixture. I've seen people make that mistake before. Okay, but if a switch is controlling several light fixtures, it's just a path from the switch to each light fixture and then ends at the very last light fixture that it controls. And you can also see my switch placements. My switch placements are, you know, I put some thought about convenience for the placements of those switches, and where they would want to turn those things on and off. And I use that also when it comes to three-way switches. Now, this is a three-way switch, and this one, for instance, they can control this light fixture and this light fixture up here from two locations. This is the second location. So when you're running three-way, it's from the switch to the fixture and then to every other fixture that it controls and then to the second switch. Okay. And just like in this instance right here is another three-way switch for this fluorescent light fixture in the middle of the kitchen. From the switch, the wire runs to the fixture and then out of the fixture to the second switch. Okay. Now, if you have more than one or two locations, you're going to have to use a four-way switch. So if you have more than two switching locations, and I don't have any in this job, but it would be really the same thing. You would run from a switch to all of your light fixtures to a second switch, and then from that second switch to the third switch. Okay, but really all you need is three-way switches if they're just going to be two locations. And then coming over to my bathrooms, now you can see here in the bathroom I have a lot of individual control for certain light fixtures, such as this switch being the light fixture that goes into the shower. Okay, there's a waterproof light fixture in the shower that's actually recessed into the ceiling, so no, it's not actually in the shower where it's going to get wet. And then a second switch which turns on the vanity light, the light above the vanity. And then a third switch that turns on this light that's in the center of the bathroom. That is the main light. And the main light is the one that I locate closest to the door opening. And that's the way you want to do that. So always the main light gets closest to the door opening. It will be the first light switch that they would switch on in order to see where they're going. And speaking of positioning of switches in that manner, the light switches always go to the side that the door opens. Okay, so right here you see the opening where I come in, the door swings to the right, but the switches are going to be on the left. And it will be just the opposite for doors that open on the left or that swing to the left. Then your switches would need to be on the right. I also included a light above the toilet in this particular bathroom because there is a wall that divides the toilet from the sink and everything. And of course, you know, you kind of like to read there, right? So, and then another switch for a fan, an exhaust fan, also right above the toilet. And if you do not have a window in your bathroom, you must have one of these exhaust fans. Now, I do have a window in this bathroom, so it's not required. But if, such as this bathroom right here, where there is no window, then an exhaust fan is required. You would be violating code if you did not have that exhaust fan in there. Okay, over to the bedrooms. I have a dimmer switch controlling this bank of lights at this end of the room. 4 lights. You see the wire going to each one of those light fixtures and then ending at the very last fixture. And then I have another switch that controls the fan, and that would actually turn the fan and the fan light on. As far as the light and the fan itself, that can also be controlled by a chain pull switch, a pull chain. So you can actually use this right here to control the fan on and off, and then have a chain that controls the light on and off on the fan itself. And that's kind of the way I do it. So, and then up here, I have 2 lights that are really part of the same layout as these can lights. However, they're closer to the bed, so I put an individual switch for each one so they can turn those on individually from the rest of the lights, you know, and mainly just for like reading lights. Okay. And I probably should position those a little bit closer to the bed, maybe a little bit further backwards. But those are some adjustments that I can make later. Now, closet lights, if you want the switch on the outside of the closet, that's perfectly fine. But make sure you run the wire through the door and then to the light fixture. Don't run it through the wall, run it through the door. That way it's easily seen where that switch is at and what light it controls. If you run it through the wall, sometimes it can get confusing. So what we're doing here is we're not actually positioning the wires exactly where they're going to be in the home. We're positioning them mainly to tell the electricians what switch is going to control what light. Okay, hallway light here. There's another bedroom done the same way as the previous bedroom. And then I have the exterior fixtures. These are exterior lights, switch right here by the door, going through the door opening to each light fixture. And then over here also on the back door, I have a light fixture right outside the back door that's controlled by this switch. And of course, it also controls all the light fixtures on the carport. Okay, so I have a whole loop of light or wire that goes all the way around to the very last fixture, which is right here, and that's where the wire stops. I thought about doing it a little differently, like putting an additional switch, one switch strictly for this fixture here, and then another or a 4th switch actually on this bank controlling the carport light fixtures. Okay, and also just to note, I don't really like this arrangement. You know, I finished this design, but now I'm thinking I probably should put the door over here somewhere and just maybe put another window right there. But that's just some of the design thoughts and stuff you have after you've designed something that you could change as you go or later on. You don't even have to change it now because everything right now is perfectly workable. But that generally is my entire lighting plan, my entire wiring situation. Now, the next video, again, like I said earlier, is going to be with the receptacles. We're going to be placing receptacles around the house, you know, power supply. And also we're going to place GFI receptacles in the kitchen. GFI standing for ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI. That's what it is. Ground fault circuit interrupter. Now, some people leave the C out of that, and it's just ground fault interrupter. So you'll see that as well. But if you have any questions, make sure you ask. Okay, don't do something that you just think is right and then try to turn it in. I would like for all of your assignments to be as close to perfect as possible. So one, you get a higher grade, and 2, you basically advance your knowledge even faster. But if you have any questions, please do ask. If you are not sure about something, send me an email. Unless you're not one of my personal students, if you're one of my YouTube students, then you can leave a note right below the video and I will respond to that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the video. Don't forget to hit the like button down here on the bottom. It helps other architecture students be able to find these videos a lot easier. Thank you again.